So my name is Michael Meir, director out of Toronto, Canada. I am forever grateful being able to host these calls each and every single Saturday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass the baton on over to the gentleman who flagships these calls each and every single Saturday. This gentleman has been able to make over $1 million in his career at World Ventures. He is a doctor. This guy is not just more of a friend. He's a brother, a mentor. This guy's work ethic is out of this world. So look, this guy's a regional trainer. He's been able to train not just hundreds, but thousands of people on how to be able to build their business and get to financial freedom. So look, national marketing director, as I said before, $1 million earner through World Ventures, national marketing director, Dr. David Helgeson. Brother, you make the call.
Mike, good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Good morning, brother. Let's go, baby.
All right, brother. Well, hey, again, I appreciate you hosting these each and every week. That does not go unnoticed. Thank you very much for that. Good morning to everybody, or good afternoon/evening. People are calling in literally all around the world, hundreds and hundreds of people on and growing as we speak. Like Mike said, we do these calls every single Saturday. There's not a World Ventures regional or national training event somewhere in North America. We have one goal very simply in mind. We want to give you things not that sound good in theory, not stuff that, is fluffed up or, maybe worked 5 years ago, or someone did it once or read it in a book once and heard it might work, so it sounds good. No. What we try to do on these calls is bring people on that are making things happen right here, right now. And maybe there's just one or two little tweaks you can make in your personal business that something you take from this call, one little nugget you take can maybe then go and tweak something just enough where it adds more money in your bank account using World Ventures as your vehicle as you go and build a residual income for yourself and your family. From a business standpoint, what we love to do with these calls is, like I said, just bring on people that are making things happen in a big way. On top of that, just like I said, give you things that are working right here, right now that you can go and apply to your business. I really do believe there's never been a better time to get excited and to really take your World Ventures business serious than right here, right now. I know there's a lot of craziness going on, but every time there's chaos going on, there's huge opportunity as well. And I think we are all positioned. If we take the time and effort to put into something, this is worth getting good at, especially right here, right now. Like, I truly believe a day to day during as this quarantine, is kind of moving towards ending more so than what it was a month ago. As we wrap this quarantine up, I believe a day working hard today will be like a week after life gets back to normal. So I would encourage everyone, work hard right here, right now. And I have an absolute boss that is coming on here to kind of go through things. We'll just go back and forth on some awesome training stuff and whatnot. A lot of you know Hadiatu. She's one of the top trainers in World Ventures, just one of the most down-to-earth people you are ever going to meet. She hit the highest rank in our company, international marketing director. And just, again, I cannot say enough nice things about her. She has been a serial entrepreneur. I mean, even just us re-talking earlier this morning was reminding me how many things she's already been successful at in life. And on top of that, decided to do this part-time. She still owns other businesses and everything else. And on top of that, has built this to the highest rank in the company and become one of the top trainers in all of World Ventures. So for example, we're going to be doing an international regional training event in a couple of weeks. She's one of the keynote speakers that will be speaking on that. Normally people have to pay money to hear her say anything, is my point. But we somehow, for free in the comfort of your own home, have her sharing with us here. She's calling from Detroit, Michigan. One of the top people, like I said, cannot say enough things nice about her. Cannot wait for what we're going to go through here in the next 40 minutes or so. So again, international marketing director, international trainer, Miss Hadiatu Dumbuya. Hadiatu, did you make it?
Yes, I am here. I am here. Can you hear me loud and clear?
I got you, boss lady. Thank you so much for jumping on. I know you have been requested for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. I'm glad we finally got to work it out. Take it away. If you would just kind of start sharing a little of your story, and we can kind of go back and forth from there.
Perfecto. So what's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. As David said, Hadiatu Dumbuya. I was actually introduced to World Ventures about 8 years ago at a very trying time in my life. So, my background is all in sports. Now I've been in sports for about 20 years. So when I was in college, I interned for the Indianapolis Colts while playing collegiate soccer. And then I left and went to New York and started working for the NFL, and sounded super cool until I realized that super cool job doesn't mean super cool bank account. And so I moved here to Detroit and started working for one of the Lions players as his assistant. And it's nuts because my mom is like, you went to college and graduated, worked for the NFL, and now you're somebody's secretary. But, you know, I've just understood things differently in life. And I knew that, number one, your network is your net worth. And so I knew this guy was super connected. I wanted to meet all the people that he knew. The other thing I know is that sometimes in life, it looks like on the outside a step back, but it's really helping you leap forward, right? So I moved here. I was his assistant for 3 to 4 years. I humbled myself. I learned so much from him. And then I started my own marketing and PR company. And that was going good. You know, it was a struggle at first, but I figured it out. And when I saw World Ventures 8 years ago, I was at a point where I was just trying to figure stuff out. So I was 30 years young at the time. And I don't know, for you guys that are almost at that age or thinking about maybe 25, 30, you know, there's certain milestone ages where you look in the mirror and you're like, God, I thought I'd be a little bit further along. And I was there. You know, I was actually doing testing to donate my kidney to my brother. And somebody that I had met from a club is the person that introduced this to me. And my typical self, guys, I'm like, if you don't have what I want, I'm not listening. That's my personality all the time. And he didn't have what I wanted. He was really kind of just starting too. But he painted a vision of what it could be. And then I spoke to his aunt, who was the top female earner, one of the top female earners in the company at the time. And I started just thinking like, well, what could it be? And if I'm talking about I want more in life, maybe I should just pay attention. And so I paid attention. Mind you, I saw a pretty janky video. So I didn't see a glamorous presentation. So please don't think it's got to be perfect. But what he did very well was he got his aunt on the phone for a 3-way call. Okay, so he added validation. So he had no business background, wasn't winning, but got somebody that was winning on the call. And I started really envisioning my life through her eyes. She was way more mature than myself. For some of you guys that know her, it's IMD Gail Spears. And I started thinking like, man, if my mom could have her life, that'd be cool. Maybe I should do this and just help my family out. And so what I did was I literally just said, I'm going to do this. I called my best friend. I said, we're doing this. And the rest was history, guys. My first month, I had small goals. For you guys that are on here right now that you're like, I got to hit $1 million tomorrow. I've never done this industry and never believed in it. I was the first one to tell you to go get a real business if you ever brought network marketing to me. And so I was like, let me just test the waters. So I made my money back in my first month. I put the business down. I went and donated my kidney to my brother. And while I was in the hospital, that's when I saw what the leverage was. See, guys, you all, everybody that's on here, you know you. You know what you're going to do. You know what your grind is. So you know if you have a good network, a bad network, you know you. And you're basing your business on you. And what you don't realize is that the people that you bring in are who build your business. And so I had no idea that, you know, my team would grow while I was in the hospital. But while I was in the hospital, that's exactly what happened. You know, I got super excited when I saw a check hit my bank account the day after I donated my kidney. And I was like, holy crap, it's real. So 2.5 years in, 6-figure income, 6.5 years in, we got to the top level of the company. Told my mom she doesn't have to really go into work anymore. Take care of our luxury cars. And for those of you guys that know me, I'm really not very flashy. I just don't like bills. So anything I can pay off, I'm doing that, right? So I was able to find some success in World Ventures fairly quickly. But I want to say this before we go into the rest of this. When I started, guys, I've never asked my friends to borrow money. I've always been the most financially sound out of my friends, got my degrees, have traveled the world very extensively prior to World Ventures. Like I've done a lot of different things, and my closest friends didn't do it with me. I had one friend, my best friend, that was it. Everybody else thought I was nuts. Like I had a party at my house and it was 13 people that came and they all said no. And in order to do the party at my house, I was in Cincinnati, but I live in Detroit. So I had to drive 4 hours to do the presentation, drove 4 hours right back. Nobody signed up. Some people would have been like, I'm not doing it. But that makes me go harder when you tell me no. So I did it again the next weekend, drove 4 more hours, did the exact same thing, 13 more people, and they all told me no. And so I sat down and I'm like, all right, I need to go to the drawing board because I'm doing something wrong. Like I was inviting all my party friends and that's cool, but I would never build a multi-million-dollar business with any of them. And so what I decided to do was sit down and think of who would I want to build a business with? Who has talked about doing different things? Who has a job and has a side hustle? And so I actually developed a list of those individuals. And my third party, I enlisted my husband's help and I was like, you invite somebody that you know, I'm going to invite some people that I know. And it's crazy. His friend was the first person that signed up with me here in Michigan. He was somebody I would have never reached out to myself. Okay. So a background that I didn't agree with. So I would have never reached out to him. That was the first person that got started with me. And that's how it blew up. So I say that to say, don't prejudge. And I say that to say, just because it doesn't like pan out in 2 seconds doesn't mean you won't hit the top level of the company. So that's how it started out. That's how it's worked out. Life has been absolutely amazing. 70 plus trips later, 9 different countries last year, international speaker because of this club. It's literally changed the way that I look at life and the way that I look at money too.
Hadi, there's a lot of really good stuff in that. So like you said, a super cool job doesn't mean a super cool bank account. Like I think a lot of people can relate to that. Like I went to school to be a chiropractor because, well, when you sit in school as a middle school student, you think doctors make a lot of money. And I'm like, make a lot of money, be cool. I think that's what I'm going to go and do. And then like, I remember that when I joined World Ventures, I was in my first year of grad school and I'm looking around like, there's a lot of chiropractors that are broke, or like they're nowhere near as sharp and successful as I thought like that life was going to create. And it's like, okay, but sounds cool to be a doctor. Or it's like, sounds cool to work for the NFL, but that doesn't translate necessarily to super cool lifestyle, just because it sounds cool of a title and whatnot. Whereas like a lot of people, they think of network marketing like, oh, like one of those things. And like they somehow like try to make it like it's somehow below them, or like we all have the broke friend that we hit up and they think they're too cool for it, when it's really weird because they're usually the one that has like the least amount in their checking and savings account, but they're the loudest like vocal opinion how they think they're too sharp for it, which is really funny to me. But again, this is worth getting good at. I hope everyone's wrapping their head around that. Just even take the two of our stories. Like traditionally, it sounds like what we were going to school for, what we were doing was really sharp and successful. And we both chose to take this as the most serious thing over a long period of time and continue to do that. So, for those of you brand new, like maybe you never met anyone before a call like this that had actually had success in network marketing. Like a lot of people dabble in things and they, just try things. Like you're meeting two people around. We didn't try this. We did it. Did you catch? She goes and shows 13 people. None of them say yes. Then she's crazy enough to go show 13 more people and none of them say yes. And then she's crazy enough to go, okay, let me change what I'm doing. Let me figure out. Most people, they look at that first one and they go, oh, for 13, this doesn't work. No, you don't work. So it's like, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. But most people, like, and again, we should talk about toughness next, Hadi, because you clearly have a lot of that. But it's like, most people wouldn't even get to number 14 of that, yet alone you went, sounds like 0 for 20 something. And it's like, most people never even get to showing 20 people because they talk to 1 or 2 or 3 people that say no. They get their feelings hurt, and then they just kind of throw in the towel like, oh, guess this doesn't work. And again, they never taken any responsibility ourselves. It's always, well, I guess, yeah, I knew it, this didn't work, or whatever. It's like, there's a lot of athletes on this call. You've worked with a ton of athletes. I love sports, so I like sports analogies. But like, I try to get this across to people all the time. Like, this business is funny. You say don't prejudge people. Like, you can talk to the shyest person ever, where you're like, there's no way this person's even going to reach out to someone. And they just become a monster in the business. And then you can go talk to these big, huge 260-pound jacked athletes. And they're, before their friend even says boo and tells them it sounds stupid, like they're literally sucking their thumb, crying, ready to $25 20 minutes later. It's like, don't be that guy. Like, it's not that serious. It's just a way to travel, a way you can make some money, but you don't need any one person. So if someone tells you no, just keep kind of going. Where did that toughness come from you? Because everyone that wins has some time where they get punched in the nose. Like, you had it happen right away. I always laugh at the people, they go like 5 for 5, and then their first person finally tells them no, and then they still get their tummy ache. And it's like, I almost wish people would get punched in the face every time like that, because you're worth working with. You already knew that right away. But like, where's your mindset with toughness, like when you're working with your team?
Well, I think it comes from my background in sports. Like, first of all, I come from an African household. So if anybody has foreign parents, you have no choice but to be tough. And so we don't have the like loving kiss you, oh, you're okay. No. That's not how we grew up in my house. So for all you foreigners, you know what's up. So I grew up in a foreign household that started that way. And then from playing sports, like, I knew that there was never going to be like a microwave success. In sports, you practice for multiple days for one game, you might not play. Right. So I learned the toughness from that. I learned to work when other people weren't working, because I've never been, David, never like even hearing people say she's been successful. I've never been like the best at anything. I just always worked harder. I went to a Division I school and on a full ride scholarship, and I wasn't even 100 pounds going into college. So that's not normal. So I remember every single morning I would have to wake up and I would go work out before classes. I had to work out so I could gain weight, because I was like, I want to start. So I had to do those things. And I do believe that life prepares you for what you're supposed to do. And so most people take the challenges in their life and they look at them as the things that hold them back, but you don't know that that's what's molding and creating you. And so, you know, having tough college coaches, having tough parents, it translated into that in my life. You know, it translated that to when I went to work for the NFL and they treated me like crap, but most people would stay because they feel like they want to look good to other people for the outside, but they don't care what their inside is like. I'm not really set up that way. Like, I need to feel good about what I'm doing. And so really the toughness came from that background, you know, an athletic background. So this is just a tip for you guys. I like working with athletes, and I'm not saying if you're not an athlete that you can't do this. I'm going to say it's a good idea to get some athletes on your team because there are different things that athletes go through that other people just don't understand. There just is. And so toughness definitely came from that, but also because I know what my end goal is all the time. Like, I've set goals for myself in life. And so no matter what the picture looks like along the way, I just know what it is at the end, right? So for me, that's where really the toughness has come from. And while building this business, there's so many ups and downs, you know, like I was going to make a video talking about the emotional roller coaster of network marketing. And so you sign somebody up and you're like, this is the best thing in the world. I'm so excited. And then 2 days later, they say they want to quit. And you're like, maybe this isn't real. And then 4 minutes later, when your best friend is like, okay, I'm ready to do this journey with you. And you call them, you're like, let's go call your people. They call their friends say they don't want to do it. And you go from literally the craziest high to the craziest low. And so what I've learned throughout this is that I just got to keep myself at a level playing field where I'm not excited necessarily by the results. I'm excited by my activity. That's what keeps me motivated and going, because that's something that I can control. You know, like we can't pay attention to what's going on the outside of as we're building this. It's what you can control along the way. And so what I can control is my activity and my excitement throughout the time that we're doing this. And so it translates into toughness. You have no choice. You know, I did an audio that said, like, I just won't ever be a liar. If I tell somebody I'm going to go get something done, like, I just have to do it no matter what. And so if that means that that's toughness, then that's what it is. But I just call it just being honest. Like, when you tell your friends you're going to do this, guys, go do it. When you tell your friends, like, we're going to change the world together, you got to stop being so freaking emotional, right? You've got to just change your mind and say, this is what I said I'm doing. I'm going to go do it. So that's really probably where the toughness came in. It's the background. So think of all the things you guys have gone through in life, from childhood to adolescence to adulthood, and remind yourself that all those things that happened were all forming and shaping you for this journey right now. They're just teaching you how to do it. I mean, like, even moms, I don't know how every mom can't win at this, because it's way tougher to raise a child. Like, that's way tougher than anything else. So that's definitely where my toughness has come from.
Well, you just hit it right there at the end. Like, everything in life is hard, but that was exactly what I was thinking, Hadi. Like, there are so many harder things out there. Like, the hardest thing, the worst thing that happens to you here is somebody says no. And it's like, okay, yeah, like, again, I don't even have kids yet. I have a dog. Like, that is harder to me than someone telling me no. Like, there are people, like, I guess I'm fortunate or lucky enough. I'm not one of the essential people out there. Like, I have friends that are nurses and stuff. Like, that is hard. Like, what are we talking about right now? Like, there are school teachers that are sitting there overworked, underpaid, underappreciated, sitting here trying to take care of 20, 30 kids at one time. I try to take care of my nephew for 2 hours. I don't know how his teacher takes care of the entire class. That's hard. There's people that are going to be doing construction in 100-degree heat this summer. That's hard. Like, what's hard with this? I mean, sure, it might feel hard. Like, everything's hard. Pick your hard, though. I would rather have that. And I love how you talked about that emotional roller coaster. Dr. Peach had taught me that a long time ago of, like, so if there's a scale 0 to 10, 0 is just you're flatlined, you're a negative Nancy, a Johnny Rain Cloud, and everybody knows it. No one's coming near you with a 10-foot pole. And then there's, like, the insanely over-the-top excited people. You want to stay at, like, an 8, he had taught me, where most people, they go 10-0, 10-0, 10-0, 10-0, and it's like, just stay even keel. Like, sure, it's hard, but just go through it. And, I was talking last week with Eric Gersbowski on here, Hadi, and he was talking about, like, when he starts new teams, building it with a franchise. And he used that example of, like, he was going to buy, like, a Taco Bell at some point in his life, and he was comparing the businesses. I was thinking that through, talking with a couple of my leaders earlier too, where I think of this as, like, not riding the emotional roller coaster. Like, and maybe this will help some people on here. Let your family, friends, coworkers, neighbors, let them fit in and play their part, whatever that part's going to be. Okay. Now you can't prejudge because you don't know what part, but let's say we all had collectively bought a McDonald's in your town. Okay. We are interviewing people for how they are going to support our business. Some people are going to eventually become the general manager of that store. They're even going to become a co-franchise owner that you guys might even start 3 more, in different parts of the city or your state. And they're going to be the owners with you as you continue to expand. So big time type players. Some people that are in your life or that they're going to get started are going to be the 16-year-old fry girl, and they're going to quit 2 weeks later. That's okay. You just replace them with another fry person. Some people, the most they're going to do is they're going to come and order, a Big Mac from you once a week. They're going to be a customer, rock and roll. Let people fit where they're going to be. Some people hate McDonald's. They only are going to go to Burger King. They don't care if their brother-in-law owns the McDonald's. Rock and roll. Let them fit where they're going to fit. But again, it's all like pick your heart of that. All you have to do is sort through your network and see where they want to fit in. I'm not going to take the person that their highest qualified job is to clean the bathroom and try to make them my co-owner of my franchise. Let people fit where they want to be. Now, the guy that maybe his background was cleaning the bathroom, that doesn't mean in this business he can come in and actually start another franchise. Like if you watch that movie, The Founder of Ray Kroc, like I remember noticing, if you guys haven't seen that movie, it's just talking about how McDonald's exploded, kind of going off of that same analogy. And I remember the people he started, the very first franchise people were like these rich, successful guys at the country club. And they weren't teachable, they weren't coachable, they were running their stores like absolute crap. And then Ray Kroc started finding like hustlers that were like door-to-door salesmen or like small business owners. And those became the best franchise guys that ended up exploding. So it's like sometimes the people you think are going to be good at this aren't necessarily going to be it. Sometimes people aren't going to be, it's not going to be for them at all. But sometimes they're going to surprise the heck out of you. So don't ride that roller coaster. Don't worry what they say yes or you just got to go through those numbers. Like you hit that right on the head, Hadi. So moving forward from there, like if you're a person on here that really wants to make this business happen, like what kind of talk would you have to them versus generically speaking, there's a lot of really new people on here that have just got started the last few days, last few weeks. Like what advice would you have for them as they are, still just dabbling, they're working hard, but they still don't even really maybe know what they have their hands on, or, trying to wrap their head around what residual income really is, or why, this is going to be worth doing. What would you say to those new people of, why are you still here years later, and what has that residual income done, and why did you work hard for it?
Yeah, for sure. So there's a couple of different things. First, I think what's very important, and it goes along with what you just said, David, that you got to let people play their roles within your business and celebrate them along the way. For me personally, my best friend was the first person that got started with me, and she was the only person that supported me for real, like in my family. And that was enough that she supported me. And I've never made her feel less than if she didn't go crazy with this, because she'll support throughout. Then I had other people that we recruited into the business and got started in the business. And as they got started in this business, they had runs, right? And I ran with the run. And when the run ran out, I wasn't mad at them. And we went and did a whole nother run, and that had to be with somebody else. I got to say that in there, because we are trying to, it's funny, like people try to turn cats into dogs. Like if this is what they're doing and this is what they're good at, you utilize that, and you've got to be prepared for that. You've got to be prepared when they're ready to run. Like I'll give you an example. My largest group that's growing right now came from an ex-NBA player who, he was one of the first people to get started. So how he got started with me is I told my sister. My sister said, "Nah, I would never do nothing like that." So I went to my sister's best friend. My sister's best friend said, "Let's do it." My sister's best friend, she went to her cousin who played for the NBA Heat, or for the Miami Heat. He got injured, played ball overseas. And so he was trying to figure out his next step. He was my next person to get started. So during his transition phase, what he was doing was he was posting on social media. He was excited about what was going on. Let me tell you, he took a little bit of a break. But what he did was he continuously posted. My largest group that is growing right this second came from him. He's never done a presentation for any of those people. I've never condemned him for that, never been mad at him for that, because I did what you're supposed to do. You build through those individuals. You keep that run consistently grow. We literally have 18-year-olds that are senior representatives. And if you don't know what that means, it's 60 people in your group. You guys, there's a bunch of people that haven't figured out a way how to get to senior. An 18-year-old By today, there'll be another 18-year-old that's a residual earner in this, and it's going with those earners. So I had to throw that in there because I truly believe that people get mad at the people that they get started instead of just understanding what their role is and running through them while they're ready to go. Love your people along the way because they're going to get you where you need to go. Okay. So if this is somebody that's like getting started, you're trying to figure out, like, is this worth it? We've got to figure out what your dream life looks like. What did you really want out of life, right? So let's say you were going to be a doctor. What you said was, I wanted to be able to make a bunch of money. Well, then you start looking at the lifestyle of doctors. Is it money that you want or lifestyle that you want? Some people need limelight. That's okay too. Know what you want your life to look like and then figure out where this fits. So I'll tell you what I needed when I got started, because I knew that you have to think or start this with the end in mind. What do I want life to look like? So I am a complete and total workaholic. That is my nature. It's just, it is what it is. But I need to know that as I'm doing what I'm doing, I get to go have fun along the way. I want to be able to get up and get on a plane in 2 days if that's what I choose. So I looked at my lifestyle, doing marketing and PR for athletes. It is awesome, guys. I've been to every Super Bowl you could imagine. I've got an NBA. I've done all those really cool things, but I did not have any control over my time. And the minute that I decided to go on a trip, you know what happened? That meant that my income went down and I spent more money. So it was like a double negative for me to be able to do any of those things. So I said, what do you want your life to look like? Do you want it to be cool to everybody else? Or do you want to have the time? Do you want to know that if you're sick for a month that you have a check that's continuously coming in? And if that's what you're thinking, let's start thinking, how do I get to the point where I could double my monthly bills coming into my household no matter what? And that's what I was doing. I was thinking, how do I double what I already have coming in as a bill? How do I double that? Can I double that on my career? And I'm like, yeah, I can. I just need to work a whole lot more. Or I could work way smarter. Guys, we've all been built with a network. Whether it's a great network in your mind or not, everybody is 6 degrees of separation. So everybody that you know, every dud knows a stud. Every single person. Guys, I would have never imagined when I started this, I started it thinking of just my friends that I want to party with. Then I started thinking from a larger mindset. I want to grow a multi-billion-dollar business. So I said, who are the people that I know, even just through social media? Like, you know, they're your friends, but you don't like hang out with them all the time. I literally went on social media and I reached out to a girl who was a senior financial analyst for General Motors. Now, most people would never speak to her because they're like, she's too successful. I'm not talking to her. I invited her to come meet my mentor. She decided to get started with us. And guys, everybody has a story behind where they're at. So this girl was a 6-figure earner, graduated from Duke and Michigan. So you're like, no, she's not going to pay attention. She sat through the presentation with her arms crossed. At the end, first person to go, and she got in because she was facing workplace bullying. I say that to say, everybody that you know that you feel like is too good for this, won't pay attention to this, not good enough, they have a story behind where they're at. And so she got started, and you know what? She is the one that introduced my first RMD and 6-figure earner into the club. So she was here in Detroit with me. We drove to Cleveland 2 or 3 days later. We signed up a guy named Nate Stallworth. Nate Stallworth came in and put thousands into our group. Now, I didn't know anybody in Cleveland, but I was thinking with the end in mind from the beginning. So I need you guys to get to that point. Stop worrying about that right now and start thinking about, what is this going to turn into? What do I got to do now to build the foundation to get it where I need to go? And so, is it worth it? Well, I have multiple athletes. I've worked in the NFL for 20 years, guys. I've watched guys make multiple millions of dollars. I've partied with some of them. And then I've watched them in 3 years have nothing, because all of their income was determined or based upon their bodies. It's the same thing if you're a corporate exec in a company. Like, just think about people right now, guys, that worked very hard and they were relying on their pensions. Do you know what happened to the stock market? There are millions of people that literally have nothing because that's where their retirement was. So they thought they were retiring next year, but guess what they're not doing? Retiring. They weren't really thinking with the end in mind. They were just thinking, this is going to be it. Guys, you have to broaden your mindset. You've got to know that, like, the industry that we're in of travel, whether it is down for a minute or up for a minute, it's always going to be there. It's always going to be there. It allows people to do the things that they want to do every single day. I get so excited about what we have, especially right now, because I'm starting to like look outside, and I'm sitting like looking outside at a window right now. And I'm like, when you tell an adult they can't do something, what does that adult want, David?
They want to do it.
That one thing, the one thing that you said, don't touch it, don't touch it. Let me just touch it just to see. You know, I'm just going to see, especially for us, we're entrepreneurs, so we're trying to like tiptoe the line or whatever we're not supposed to do, right? So people right now are yearning for this freedom. They now understand how cool it is to work from home. People are like, dang, I didn't know. I didn't have to waste gas and have to sit in traffic. I didn't have to do any of those things. And then they're also thinking about all the places that they want to go that they never thought about going before. Never thought about it. But you know what they're doing? They're scrolling through social media all day. And you know what happens when they scroll? They see the Maldives. You know what happens when they scroll? They see somebody else like going somewhere and they start just dreaming. So really what's happening right now, and this is probably like going off tangent, but you know what's happening right now? People are dreaming that had never dreamt. Adults stop dreaming. Like by the time you're 18, you stop dreaming because your parents told you like, now you're enough. You got bills. Like adulting isn't fun for most people, right? And so people just stop dreaming. You know what's happening because people have to stay home? You got to dream because you don't have nothing else you could do. And so what keeps me motivated and excited is knowing that we've created the lifestyle that everybody wants for all my athletes, all my successful people. Like it's not the money, it's the lifestyle, it's the freedom that people are dying for. It's just saying, hey, my cars are paid off. Hey, mom, you need something? I got you. You know, for me as a foreigner, the most important thing when I decided I really wanted to do World Ventures and I was serious was I wanted to take care of my mom. And when I see like, even like some of my athletes, they're like, I bought my mom a house or I did this. Well, what sucks is that when you get cut from your team, guess what? You better start talking to mom about downsizing. Better start talking to her about something. What I love about this is that it's allowed me to do all the things that I envisioned that I wanted. You know, the reason that I wanted to be successful, you know, it's given me the platform that I felt like I deserved. You know how there's so many great people, they just don't have a platform. Network marketing gives you a platform. It allows you to be around people that would never, ever know who you are, never know nothing about you. And what's crazy is they're more supportive than anybody that you had following you or paying attention to you before. Way more supportive. And so for me, I would tell people, think about the lifestyle that you want. What do you have going on in your life that can truly get that to you or for you? Who do you have around you that actually has it and maintains it? So we have like a constant example of those that are maintaining that lifestyle, living the lifestyle, helping others. And, you know, the more that you help get what they want, the closer you're going to be to having what you want. That's how you'll maintain your happiness and success. Hence why there are so many people that have made a lot of money, not just in sports, just in anything. And they've lost it all because they haven't found a way to serve with it. Our industry and what we do at World Ventures allows you to serve as you're winning. That's what keeps people wealthy. That's what allows them to now be a legacy. That's what allows you to put your roots in the ground. That's what allows that to happen. And so for me, that's my mindset. I'm like, what do you want at the end? Thinking about the end. What are you doing right now that's going to get you to the end? I had never seen anything like this, guys. And I've seen a zillion network marketing companies. So let me tell you, I'm the number one person for everybody. You know, and they're like, do your top 10 list. I'm number one. Super outgoing, know a bunch of people. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm the number one. And I really did for years, guys. I was the most negative person. And I used to tell people all the time, don't bring me your junk. And what made me pay attention to World Ventures, it was the product, number one, but I'll tell you the other part, it was timing in my life. So I'm going to tell you guys that never stop on somebody that you feel like in your heart of hearts, you're like, they could do something amazing once they get it. Know that everybody has a low point in life. And it doesn't have to be financially. It could just be spiritually. Everybody has it. And you've got to be that person that is continuously doing this so that they know that during that low point, you're going to be the one to come back to them. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't let your ego stop you along the way. You've just got to be that person that will reach back out. Because I was actually introduced to this company before I ever even got started by somebody that was my friend. He asked me like, hey, like, have you ever heard of World Ventures? And at the time when he said this to me, my father had just moved to Africa. So my dad is in government in Sierra Leone, and my dad was running for president. And right before he moved to run for president, we weren't on great terms. And when my dad moved, my dad gave me this big old binder of something. He's like, I started a business, and here, I'm giving it to you. And I thought it was a network marketing. I never looked at it because I wasn't in a good place with my dad, but it had a big globe. So instantly, I thought it was World Ventures. And so when he said World Ventures, I'm like, yeah, it's the same thing. My dad does it. I'm not interested. He never reached out to me to say, what weren't you interested in about it? See, sometimes you'll stop because somebody's like trying to give you a block. You don't know, like girls, it's like this. If you dated a guy named Sean and he treated you like crap, the next Sean that you meet, how do you feel about him? You're like, no, I don't want a Sean. There are so many people that have been approached by network marketing opportunities the wrong way. So they shoot you down before they can even see it. And it's your job to use that toughness, to have the end in mind, to actually have a heart to serve, that you still make sure, listen, at least just watch the 5-minute video though. Tell me no after that. I'll be cool. Just tell me no after that. Because that's what allows you to build a solid business in this, guys. You don't know where people are at, but most of the individuals, I truly believe this. I believe that everybody that you need in life is right in front of you. Whether it's somebody that you're walking past in Starbucks that you're afraid to talk to, whether it's somebody that is in your phone book that you're like nervous or you think that they won't do it, they're there. So when you're talking about hard, David, like, you know, for me, the thought is that it's not even that it's just like the hard part, it's you getting over yourself. You understanding that it really is easy, and if you think that it's easy, it'll be easy for you the whole time. That end mindset, like just keeping that same thought process behind it.
There is so much gold in that, Hadi. Seriously, okay, now you're understanding, everyone, why there's 700 people on here. Again, insane amount, I'm sure, are going to listen to this replay. Like, right there, it was worth everything, even if we had nothing else other than that last 10 minutes, for real. I want to unpack two things. There's a million different ways we could take that. I want to unpack one thing for brand new people on this call, and then I want to unpack something for builders that are really making things happen right now on this call, because there's some gold in that, okay? Brand new people. Here's what I want you to understand. All you are doing is finding a block of time to show people something you're excited about. Your job is not to sell this. Your job is to get them at a time where we can show them. We don't care if they say yes. We don't care if they say no. But did you catch her posture and her confidence with that, where people don't get to just say no, like, you know, bless whoever that person was years ago that tried to show you and then it's just shut down. You guys understand, if you eat at one bad restaurant, doesn't mean all the restaurants suck. Or like the athletes out there, like you have one bad play, does that mean you just go sit and suck your thumb on the bench the rest of the game? Like, yes, there's a lot of really crappy network marketing companies out there. There's some good ones, there's some joke ones, then there's just some wacky stuff all around. That doesn't mean everything's lumped in together. There's some really good chiropractors out there. There's some really bad ones too. Like, you can't just lump everything together. So what you're doing is you're putting it on you. So I don't care, like literally, I say it like this, Hadi. Someone could tell me I've seen World Ventures 13 times. I go, cool, you're going to see it 14 because you've never seen it from me. So it's like, you got to take that personal, like for you new people, take it personally. I don't care if they're going to join, but they're going to hear me out. Mom, I do not care if you're going to join. You go lock your credit card in your little safe in your room. I don't care. But you are going to hear me as we sit down and I take some leftovers out of the fridge. You can go talk to your best friend, and I don't give a rip if they're going to do it, but they're going to hear from you. And so again, you dig in a little bit more. It's like, I remember we used to say it like that, like, yeah, it's not for me. What's not for you? Traveling, making money, or helping people? Like, what do you mean it's not for you? What's not for you is you prejudged it. You thought you knew what it was. When I say pit bull, you 700 people listening to me, some think nice dog. Some think mean dog, some think Mr. Worldwide. Like, one word can mean so many things. And in the beginning, all of you new people, be real. You don't listen to anything we say. I have a 4-minute faster training video. You even watch it. You don't listen to what I say. You go vomit everything to whoever you want to talk to. You say too much. They prejudge it. And then the few people, going back to the beginning of this call, you said too much to 3 people. They didn't even know what they're saying no to, but they prejudged it, said no, and then you get your feelings hurt. We all have people on our team that could have crushed this, but we don't. If they would have just pried through a little more on one of those people, all we're trying to do, go help your new people get someone fast. Go help them get their 4 fast. The reason people all go win at this business is they get one little victory piled on top of each other. So Hadi goes 0 for 13, 0 for 13. Then she goes and gets a few in. Then someone else goes and joins. Yes, some of them still quit, but she starts piling up some victories, so our confidence starts building up. And we're just trying to help our team get to a point where their confidence is higher than caring what that person says. And when you get to that, over. Yeah, go ahead, Hadi.
I was going to say, and for that, you know, the group that's growing the fastest right now is the ones that we are teaching that principle right away. And so we're doing a Zoom presentation. As soon as the Zoom presentation is over, we walk them through how to sign up, and then we do a training with them right then, you guys. And this training is not like, you know, the 30-minute fast start training. The training is download your app and invite. I mean, I think what kills us is that we want to teach them everything. You know, you've been in for a while, you're like, you need to know everything. You got to have an extensive why. To sign somebody up today, you don't have to have an extensive why. Okay, you really need to just be able to shoot them a text or give them a call and say, hop on Zoom. And so what we've learned, and this is all a learning process, you guys, almost 8 years in, I'm still learning with this, and I'm cool with that. You know, David, I've watched how you guys got good at doing a faster presentation, so you don't have to give people everything. Like, you think that they need to know every piece of the membership. Oh, how do you forgot this? Shut up. I'm good. Like, I'm giving them enough to make it's either a $75 decision, a $250 decision, a $350, or $1,050. For the ladies that buy hair is like $600 at times, and you make that decision very quickly. You don't know what horse it came from, you just buy it. And so for me, what I've realized as our recent growth, like what's allowed us to duplicate right this second, presentation, sign you up right there. I'm not getting off. I'm not trying to call you. I'm not doing any of that. You could get somebody on to do your third-party validation. So get somebody that's a little bit stronger on the call with you. Walk them through. Go to worldventures.biz. This is how you sign up. This is the membership you click. As soon as you're done, now I have your ID number. Let's log you into your app. Guys, we're letting people go and thinking that they're going to do it later. All of us have signed up for things and forgot what we signed up for. We've all done it. Like, how many times do you forget your Apple ID password? You know what I'm saying? Like, we forget passwords. And so do that right with them, log them in, get it on their front page of their phone so it's right there, and then teach them how to invite for 15 minutes later. With the Zoom, the greatest part of Zoom is that you can compress time. You know, normally if we were sitting face to face, just me and you, David, I'm like, okay, you're excited to call somebody. I got to have you either have them watch a video, which is cool, but what would be way more impactful is if they could see your excitement, understand what's going on. Right now, they get it right away. And this is how they got signed up. So they're comfortable to do that. So we're literally getting people to invite right away for the very next presentation. So people are scoring 3, 4, and 5 times. Scoring meaning they're signing 4 and 5 of their friends up in their first day of getting started because they got into action right then. So even if 24 hours later, which this happens to a lot of people, they start getting the, oh my God, what did I do? Because I did that. You know, you signed up for this and you're like so excited, and then you go home and you're like, I don't even know what I just signed up for. By the time they're at that point, they already waived their monthly fees for their membership. So now it's like a win-win situation. I'm already here. And so it's moving through. That's exactly what you're saying. It's so simple. It's just moving through the process quickly. Guys, we literally don't know how long, you know, the stay-at-home type of situation is going to be. And so right now, these next 2 weeks, I believe are going to be the most critical in your business. I believe these next 2 weeks are going to be the most critical because you're going to have more access to people right now than ever before. I believe that there's some people that have been like kind of waiting. You're not quite sure if you want to go after people. You're trying to figure it out. I want you to know this. This is a time in history that we'll never have again. We will never, ever have a time like right now ever again. And if you miss out on it, you will be regretting it. You're going to remember that there was people like David Helgeson that hit international marketing director, so speaking it into existence during a pandemic. And you're like, how are these people putting 700 people in? Because they actually did it quickly. Before your emotions get attached to it, like people are excited when they get in. So you give them 24 and 48 hours. You know what you just did? You let them go from excited to scared. Because this is new. I've never done this before. I don't know if I know how to do this. Well, if you teach them right away the basic pieces of it, they'll do the exact same thing for the next people. And so I see your teams growing like crazy. And that's literally what's happening here. It is growing like wildfire because as soon as we're done, get in the system, let's go. Like we're closing people on there. You know, we're literally saying, hey, do you want to travel with us for as low as this? Do you want to make money with us for as low as this? Tell us what it is. Before you can think about it, before you can get nervous, before you can think you need to do research on nothing because you don't research the guys you date or the girls you date, like you really aren't trying to research anything. You're just trying to buy yourself time. So you stop that right there, and then let's just get you into action. Guys, that's what I believe for all of us on here right now, if we all got off of this call right now and we actually went and called somebody, did a presentation with them, and then showed them how to do the exact same thing, there will be more people right now that waive their fees than ever before. So people are looking for the magic sauce. And I know you get on these calls, you're like, there's got to be magic sauce. There's really not no magic sauce. It's just you being like consistent and adapting with the times. Times now are saying you need to go get multiple presentations done in an hour. Some people only got an hour in a day. You said it. Mark out your time. You might only have an hour in a day. So that means you might need to compress the length of your presentation. Maybe it's not 45 minutes this time. Maybe I give you just enough to be able to make a decision, and you can upgrade yourself along the way. Multiple different levels of membership. I just need you at least get in so you can lock your spot. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get you your fees waived, and we can upgrade you along the way. If you already know that you're an online shopper, okay, cool, let's go ahead and get you started at gold. And if you really want platinum or titanium, but bank account's not hitting, let's go ahead and get you where you need to go along the way. And so it's just doing it quickly, just getting it done as quickly as possible. So when and if the blow comes, that the person that you really wanted to get started says no, you can't even feel the blow because you're running too fast.
Yes. Seriously, this is a broken record. Like, okay, we say this every week. We want you to hear things that work right here, right now, not things that sound good in theory. Like you are hearing exactly what this entire call is about right here, right now. You have to adapt to times. What worked 5 years ago doesn't necessarily work the exact same today. What worked 3 months ago doesn't necessarily work right now today. What we're doing right now isn't necessarily exactly what we'll be doing 3 months from now. But again, you adapt. Say less to more people. That is exactly what's working right here, right now. You hit that on the head, Hadi. And again, so new people, say less to more people. And go fast because you're going to get punched in the nose. So go fast, where by the time you get punched in the nose, your hand's already been raised in victory several times and you're not feeling that first blow. Okay. Now, for those of you that are builders, I have to hit this point as we wrap up. Let's leave the last 5 to 8 minutes, whatever we're going to do here, Hadi, specific to like the top 2% kind of builder people, like the ones that really want to go and build this to thousands, tens of thousands of customers. Maybe it's less than 2% of the people that'll listen to this right now. But I want everyone to catch, for you builders, one of Hadi's biggest teams right now started from years ago of someone that joined and never even actually did the presentation, okay? You hear build through all the time, but really wrap your head around that right now, because the faster we go, the more important the build through is. You want to take whoever is new on your team and treat them like they're your personal. Find a way to go and find the person that's going to take it serious. Dig through your teams. Fill your schedule up with your team's appointments. If they're not keeping you busy, go refill your own and keep leading by example. You know, if you go refer, Crystal and I, Hadi, are close to 400 personals. So it's very easy for me to tell my new guy, go get 4 when I'm close to 400. Okay, so keep leading by example. You know, I watched that. I think I'm on the 8th episode of the Jordan documentary now, so no spoiler alerts, because I'll get really mad at you guys. But like, he's talking about like, there's a price to winning, there's a price to leadership. But one thing I can tell you, I mean, Jordan's like tearing up at the end of this last thing I was watching last night. He goes, I never asked any of my teammates to do something I hadn't already done. And it's showing a video of him. They're doing sprints back and forth, and he's the one leading the charge on it. And it's like, so don't ask people to do what you're not willing to do, but be willing to help go through that. If Hadi would have just sat around and go, okay, maybe this guy will show people, maybe it won't. Again, we expect them to know how to do it. This is your business. And the person your friends put in are just as valuable to you as the friend yourself that put in. Go find who wants to do this and make that person your best friend. You know, we have a new senior rep, Darius Miller, on our team. Put like 13, 14, 15 person, some crazy number this last week. And I remember talking to him a couple days ago, and he's like, man, he was almost bummed, like, oh man, it didn't go fast enough. And this is a great new blood kind of conversation, because he personally that day, I don't think put one personal in. When he was putting like 3-4 personals in a day, day after day after day. And I had to remind him, like, dude, no, it's good. You had 11 people on your team sign up today. And so it's like, it's not just what one of us does, it's what the team does. You know, so for Darius and for all of you new people that are starting to make stuff happen, if someone on your team makes a sale, that is just as good as you putting one in yourself. And do everything you can to keep helping your team. But again, if they don't have someone to show, you can keep leading by example and keep going from there. Here, and you hit it, Hadi, and then I'll give you the last few minutes as we close out. You know, now is the best time. We both have been saying that. I was talking to my wife this morning about this, and it's so true that At the end of all of this COVID stuff, from a business, some of you are very busy with essential workers, maybe it's a little different, but generically speaking to everybody listening on here, we have had more free time than we've ever had. Okay. Some of you athletes have never had time to sit around, and you can only play so many games of 2K. You can only watch so many lame episodes on Netflix. We can only attempt to make so many pathetic TikTok videos that aren't actually funny. Like, we only have so much time to do that stuff. And at the end of all this, you're going to look back. If you don't have what you want, and if you're not at least vastly further along moving in the direction to the goals that you have, you can't blame it that you didn't have time. You just didn't have discipline. Now, you still have a few weeks minimum to get this figured out. So if your business isn't where you want it right now, understand you can change that at any time. But I would recommend starting right now. So again, it's discipline you need to work at. There's people that should be on this call that aren't on this call. They lack discipline. There are people that should go show people, but instead they choose to do one of those other non-income producing things. It's not that they lack the time to be able to do it, because it's easy to do. They lack the discipline to go and accomplish it. But we can change that. We can work on discipline. See, we are here to help coach you and go through this. You're in business for yourself, but you don't have to do it by yourself. Let's just work on it right now today. And the other thing I really want you builders to hear is it's not what everyone says sacrifice a season. But a season that you sacrifice means when you're in momentum. It's easy for the guy that lacks discipline, has nothing going on, to go, after this call, I'm going to sacrifice a season. No, you're not. Well, you at least got to go prove to yourself you're going to sacrifice a day before we can sacrifice a season. Some of you have a lot of momentum right now. That is when you have to sacrifice a season. When you have momentum down, that foot is to the gas is to the floor, do not take your foot off. Take your other foot and put it on the gas pedal with it and push harder. Right now, for those of you that got momentum, this is the time to give it everything you got. Because when you have momentum, again, we can talk about this forever and ever. We all in our business have had momentum and not had momentum. When you don't have momentum, you would do anything in the world you could do to get that momentum back. Those of you that got the momentum, that's when they talk about sacrifice a season. That's when you don't look left, when you don't look right. That's when you don't turn the video game console on. That's when you skip the birthday parties. Put in everything you got right now, because a day today is going to be a week 6 months from now. Hadi, I'll give you the last couple minutes, close it out with whatever you'd like from there.
Cool. And so to go along with what you're talking about, David, for the builders, right? You need to be prepared for your flood. Okay. And so people will pray. Like you said, we pray to get momentum. And then when it gets crazy, you're like, I'm tired. I don't have time to do this. And guys, this is not an optimal time for me. I'm just as busy with my full-time career. I'm still doing homeschooling with my daughter. Like, I'm still trying to maintain fit. Like, I'm still doing all of that, but I'm up till 2 o'clock in the morning as an international marketing director. And so this is not to be mean, but this is to tell you, how do you let somebody that has what you want outwork you every day? That's super weird to me. How do you have somebody that has what you want? How do you allow them to keep outworking you? And you want to complain about it. Listen, for the top builders that are on this call right now, be prepared for your flood. Meaning when people are coming in, you've got to be prepared to go push them and work when they're not working, so they see that this is what it looks like. You train your team to understand what hard work looks like, because this is what normal people think of hard work. Going to work for 8 hours. That's what they think hard work is. They're like, I went to work for 8 hours. I'm exhausted. And so teach them what it looks like. So somebody that gets started with you might think, if I showed one person that I'm doing it, but you create that momentum by setting the bar. So you tell them, look, our expectations for you is for you to sign up 4 people today. That's your expectations. Let's go push to do it. I'll stay up with you till 2:30 in the morning and do it while my daughter is laying across my lap. Like, they'll see it. I have an 11-year-old that will be laying across my lap while I'm doing the last presentation and talking to people so that they understand that I'm here to build with them. Eric Grzybalski last week, he talked about, and Eric Grzybalski is $1 million earner, one of the best trainers in the company. And Eric Grzybalski was talking about windshield time, driving to different places. Well, we can't do that right now, but you do have this. And you can go ahead and spend that time. Guys, this is like you planting seeds in your business, and most people won't take that time to do it. So I'll take the time to talk to you for an extra hour and a half so I can learn you, so you can learn how to do this business, so you can trust me, because people will open up their real contacts, their real ones. Just so you know, people don't give you their real ones day one. They give you the ones they're comfortable to give you day one. People give you their real ones when they're comfortable with you and they know that you will take care of them. That is huge. So if you're trying to figure out, why can't I get people to like get me their real people? Because you haven't created a relationship and connection with them. And they really think that you're trying to sell them. So you have to take that time and be prepared for that flood. I don't care what you got going on in your household. Don't think that nobody else has anything less. We all got the same stuff going on, but the ones that rise, the ones that win, the ones that will duplicate are going to be the ones that spend that time. This is the windshield time. This is like windshield time. I'm learning you. I'm getting to figure out what are the things that are going to make you. Now I get to learn what is really why you're doing this. So when you start telling me you're tired, I'm going to remind you of your why. I'm working with 18-year-olds, guys, right now. This is a very different market for me. I've never done this before. But what I've learned is that they're trying to figure out certainty in this industry. They're trying to know that somebody's not trying to just sell them. And so if you want to get people to that point where they trust you, they respect you, and they love you, and you can do that in your first day. You can literally do that in your first day if you take the time. And I truly believe that as fast as you go, you still need to make sure that you are working on relationships with the people that you're building with so that they will give you the real people that would open up the true flood for your business. Guys, you're one person away from IMD. This one or two people will flip your entire business. That basketball player that I was talking about that got started, somebody from social media is who ended up saying, hey, I want to do this with you. It's God. It is all God that this happened. He was in Miami. The person that reached out to him on social media was in Detroit. So I got to work with that person. She is now a six-figure earner in this club. She has a full-time career still, and she's a six-figure earner in this club, has a whole family. We built through that. That's where the 18-year-olds came from. Guys, I'm saying this because I want you to start thinking further along, thinking that every single person has some, you just got to go get that person from them. You've got to like dig deep enough. You've got to create the relationships enough, but you've got to be vested enough to get that done. So for the top 2% of the people, you're like, well, what do I need to do? People aren't moving. Well, instead of being so frustrated that they aren't moving, work on yourself so that people will be able to relate to you. Maybe even just taking a little bit of time and listening to some, like How to Win Friends and Influence People. We're doing that as a book club again, because people don't know how to deal with people, and it's a people business. They got to love, respect, and trust you. That's why David's been able to build through. That's why HV has been able to build through, because you're creating those relationships and doing it quickly. They see that you're doing this. They see that you're genuine, and they see that you're going to do what you said you were going to do. Guys, people can sense you lying to them a mile away, and nobody wants a slimy car salesman coming to get them in something. They want to know that this is somebody that is going to do this no matter what, that they bleed blue no matter what, that they're focused, they're dedicated, they're driven. So you've got to be that. You've got to figure out, if you don't have it, how to find some mentors. I'm so thankful for the mentorship in this business. Like, if I wouldn't have had a Martin grew up by my side to show me love and compassion, I need that stuff sometimes. Be that person. For the top 2%, you probably have a couple of people in your group right now that would go to the top if you were the leader you were supposed to be. So you got to keep working on yourself along the way, guys. So I love you all lots. You know, this business is a true reflection of yourself. And so don't take this as me like trying to come at you, but take it as me trying to push you to go ahead and dig just a little bit deeper. Thank you so much, David, for putting this platform together. There's so many nuggets that people are able to take every single week to carry them through the entire week. Here's the thing. Everybody on this call has to go and apply it. Be hungry, go fast with this thing, be a good person while you're building it, have integrity as you're doing this, because you're not building something to make you a couple of dollars, you're building wealth and your legacy. So I absolutely love World Ventures. I'm so excited for our training where we'll be able to train together next month. Let's go get this thing done, guys.
Hadi, thank you so much. That was an insane blessing to so many people. Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend. God bless.